Welcome back, my little recusants, to another episode of our Kingdom Hearts Final Mix 100% guide. We are about to get a ton of trophies. Are we ready? So, what we're basically doing is we're returning to the Keyhole of Darkness. The Princess of Heart, unfortunately, have been gathered and have opened this Nexus to Darkness, and they are using all their might, minus the strength of Belle and Kyrie. But like all the might of 5 of the 7, so 5/7 of the power needed to hold back all this onslaught of darkness. But it's our job as the Keyblade wielder to basically hop on in and seal that keyhole now that it is complete. And essentially what I'm doing here is we're collecting a good few handy dandy treasure chests here. The first being a dark matter, I think. But basically within the Grand Hall there's 3 treasure chests. One containing a Keyblade for Sora, one containing a dark matter, and the other containing the last of the Dalmatian puppies. So that's why unfortunately we couldn't get all 99. We were stuck on 96 until we could actually get the treasure chest, which you can only get once the princesses are rescued. But as I had said before, we had the Grand Hall, the entrance hall, and now we have the Grand Hall. So the stealth soldiers just love halls. It is where they vibe the best. And essentially just stop them, Ars Arcanum them, and you will eventually be able to get rid of them all. And that's that. So with that stealth soldier defeated, we get another energy stone, and we're just picking up everybody because, honest to God, Sora has to do all of this basically himself. Donald is constantly going unconscious, and I don't know why, because I believe I set his magic to defensive an awful lot of the time, and he just isn't putting Aero on people. It's like, Donald, you are a fragile Fabergé egg. Why are you refusing to cast Aero to protect yourself? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But once we can get a good bit of EXP from these areas, taking out all the high EXP yielding Heartless, and just showing you guys, so we got another bright crystal. So as I say, once you're still hunting certain synth items, we really can't afford to basically leave any of these enemies behind, So don't skip any of them, because again, they could just drop another bright crystal and you're still looking for those, so why give up on the chance? Now, again, I kind of had played an awful lot, so I was really worried that we're going to end up with another crash. So that's why when I was like, oh, I got a bright crystal, I probably should head back, and I got some energy stones. So I was kind of backwards and forwarding a lot, but essentially, once you get to the Grand Hall, you really just have to keep pressing forward. Take out the Heartless as they appear, and make your way deeper into the Grand Hall. And towards that pretty gnarly looking keyhole, to be honest. It's pretty sick. But make sure you leave on Ripple Drive. I don't know why I take it off in later episodes, but it's so good, especially when our MP gets so high that really the Ripple Drive explosion will just take out nearly any Heartless. And don't forget, you're able to cast stop on these guys, so don't be like me chasing after them, flailing the Keyblade wildly, But this is where I'm like, right, treasure chest collecting, let's go. So that was another dark matter, and now we have to use gravity on this guy, get rid of him, and then essentially you have to kind of run the kind of backward U of this Grand Hall. So what's really neat is that was obviously the chamber that Kyrie was supposed to be put into, but she was left down below. But they had the setup ready. They had all 7 capsules ready for them. And then over here in this little nook, nearly camouflaged, is the final Dalmatian puppies. 61, 62, and 63 collected. And we get the top dog trophy, and we get our lovely 101 Dalmatians golden stamp in the journal. So with that, we're going to basically skedaddle back to Traverse Town and just make sure we hand them over. And what's super awesome is the fact that with the return of all 99 puppies, we actually get a spell upgrade, and it's a bit out of sequence, but we essentially get Aeroga, which is obviously a third tier of magic, really, really powerful. But Aero, as I had said, is one of the most versatile spells per upgrade. So like with Firaga, you know, they just become more powerful versions of the damage spell. But with Aero, it's like level 1 buffs defense, level 2 buffs defense and deals chip damage, level 3 buffs defense, deals chip damage, and can reflect projectiles now. But because we've all 99 back, we get this really, really cute cutscene, and the music from Ariel's Grotto returns, so it's just super wholesome. And all the puppies are just so happy with Sora. Oh, it's so cute. But just run up to the little box, and then you get an Orichalcum, the Ultimagi, the Tech Boost ability, and Aurora developed into Aeroga, and a complete gummy collection. So that's basically one of an awful lot of the gummy blocks. It's pretty good. And then I'm like, ooh, with all of these different bits and pieces, can we synthesize anything else? Because we got some lucid crystals and some bright crystals. And yeah, so hop on in, synthesize Heartguard, synthesize Elixir, and we're getting closer and closer to unlocking the final screen of your synthesis items. Again, hopping back in, rearranging some abilities, and equipping the Omega Arts, because that actually gives us a tinge more MP, which is great. And you see here I take off Ripple Drive because I think, oh, is Ripple Drive the problem? And it never was the problem. Now admittedly, it's because the boss fight coming up is resistant to Ripple Drive. So I get rid of it here, but I realistically could have fought all the enemies, waited outside the keyhole to darkness, and then changed up that. But anyway, here's us with our just normal combo finisher. No Blitz, no Zantetsuken. Oh, sorry, we haven't unlocked those yet. No Blitz, no Ripple Drive, no nothing. So what we do have is another Energy Stone dropping Stealth Soldier. So we're gonna just stop him over here, and this is like where all the stars align perfectly. We've knocked him into the corner. He's like getting chip damage away with the Aeroga. Don't know what word I said there, but we ended up getting an Energy Stone. That's fabulous. And now get rid of all the large bodies. Use Gravity. Gravity is just the most powerful spell, because when we have this amount of MP, it just can nearly one-shot almost all enemies. The defenders need slightly a bit more. But again, we're skyrocketing through all these levels. Like, the amount of EXP we're getting, admittedly, positively augmented by the EXP ring and the other EXP gaining accessories we have so far. But, like, it's great how quickly we're kind of getting through the later 50 levels. And that is all because of our Nightfall decision to level up slowly in the beginning and quicker later on. But like, when you think about the absolute great strategy of using the Bazaar and using the black mushrooms to not only farm for, you know, mystery goo, we were getting such good experience per like second for the period of the game that it was. Like, you were on average getting 7 EXP, maybe, you know, 18, 20 EXP from the the large bodies, and then it was like, no, you actually just had 5 mushrooms that gave 96 EXP per go. So it just made total sense just to skyrocket ourselves up to around level 30, and then with all the different Disney bosses like Ursula, Jafar, Genie Jafar, Oogie Boogie, Manor Oogie Boogie, Giant Ursula, like the entirety of the second half of the game just has tons of bosses that are double bosses. Like Parasite Cage 1, Parasite Cage 2, Jafar, Genie Jafar, literally every world. Hook, like Neverland is just short because it literally only has Shadow Sora and Captain Hook. But that's still kind of 2 boss fights. So all in all, really not a bad thing at all to just get through. And now that we did the 100 Acre Wood, we've gotten the bunch of synthesis done. We now have like 2 EXP items that we're able to, you know, go through Hollow Bastion with all the different bosses here. It's just really, really useful, you know. But here we have, unfortunately, a situation where Goofy doesn't have MP gift to give, and I can't stop them, but I'm at least staying locked on to a stealth soldier and just persevering to, you know, get him. But unfortunately, I'm then like, oh, I'm too low on HP, I need to recover, I can't just stop him. But if you get these stealth soldiers in like corners, they really can find it tricky to jump around too much. But just pick one and just focus it down. And as I say, now that Goofy got his MP gift off, it's like, great, we can stop, we can keep on going. And unfortunately, don't get the energy stone drop, but it's fine. Like, there'll be more stealth soldiers in the future. But as you can see, that final stealth soldier, we had defeated all the other enemies, and so he fades out. Isn't a bad idea to go buy more cottages. We have a surplus of money, and we're going to be spending some of that money on orichalcums, but when we have enough of the orichalcums, not a bad idea just to buy cottages. They're essentially menu-based elixirs, and for a part of the game much later on, we're going to want to be going in and out repeatedly doing some grinding, so they're not a bad idea just to chuck an owl cottage or 2 just to be able to sustain repeated ins and outs of this grind without getting to a save point. But now that we're fully healed up, we're going to dive into the dark depths of the Keyhole of Darkness to seal it. And we have an age-old Final Fantasy, you know, fiend enemy that is now a Heartless. So this is one of the only occasions where a Final Fantasy enemy is actually marketed as a Heartless. I believe so. I could be open to being wrong, but I think it is the only one. And this is a behemoth, so obviously the late game Final Fantasy bosses that often summon Meteor and all of that jazz, they are redesigned for our lovely boss fight here. Now, unfortunately, the horn is immune to magic, so I thought this would be great to show off Mushu, but unfortunately, Mushu and his fire breath is not able to damage the horn. That was my mistake. But so long as we have Goofy and Donald and the Aerogas doing its work, we're able to chip away very strongly at the Heartless here. And just if Goofy, I need to double check if Goofy had Tornado here, but realistically Goofy should have been tornadoing it up and doing tons and tons of damage, so don't quite know why that is. And if Donald had gravity, gravity does very good damage to behemoths as well. Obviously more damage the more HP they have, but you know, might as well have Donald using his MP rather than me wasting my MP. But once Goofy and Donald and all of us have Aeroga, you will see the chip damage start to absolutely melt through the HP as well. And what I also realized is that, oh, he might be immune to fire specific damage, but I can actually just summon our lovely friend the genie and see how his damage goes. And believe it or not, his stuff did work, so if I had summoned him from the beginning, probably would have been a lot quicker. But that's going to be our send-off for this boss. Really simple, just jump on his back, hit his horn. You can avoid his lightning by healing with Leaf Bracer. Most everything else, he doesn't do too much craziness. But that's 9,800 EXP. And now we're going to have a cutscene with Leon and the others. And I'll chat after that's all over.
Now let's go and seal that big keyhole.
Sora, you did it. We may never meet again, but we'll never forget each other.
No matter where we are, our hearts will bring us together again. Besides, I couldn't forget you, even if I wanted to.
What's that supposed to mean?
Hurry! Come and close the keyhole!
Sora, good luck.
So, with Hollow Bastion's keyhole sealed, that lovely little keyhole icon, Alice and the other princesses are so thankful that the darkness from the keyhole has ceased, but that there's a deeper darkness, deeper into space, and that they're going to basically go forward and defeat Ansem in this deeper darkness world. And the Princesses of Heart bestow Sora the gift of light in the form of offense, so fire becomes Firaga, and it's one of the only times you are guaranteed to get a spell to Firaga stage or to Aga stage, because Blizzaga is optional to get, Thundaga and Thunder in general is completely optional to get, so you mightn't even get the Thunder spell. Gravity is again potentially optional, but anyway, we have Firaga, we have Aeroga, so it's just now going to be a quest to collect the other Aga spells, and where we're going to do that is at the Olympus Coliseum, because there is a new fight, the Hades Cup. It has 50 seeds, so 50 rounds of combat, one after the other, after the other, after the other. So I'm going to show you guys that next episode, so stay tuned. And yeah, we'll chat to you then. But the Hades Cup is a great place to basically jump up really high in levels. So we're going to see our levels skyrocket because of course we have to do it together with Donald and Goofy, solo as Sora, and under a time trial. But don't go near the question marks, we'll go there eventually, but hop into the Hades Cup and let's have fun. Thanks guys, have a good one.